Nestled between the Black Sea and the towering Caucasus Mountains, Abkhazia is often described as a land of contrasts, where every valley, village, and coastline tells a different story. Its landscapes alone feel like an entire world compressed into a small region. Subtropical palm trees and citrus orchards thrive along the coast, while just an hour's drive inland you can find yourself surrounded by glacial lakes, alpine meadows, and snowy peaks. This variety in climate and terrain has shaped not only the way people live here, but also the way they understand their place in the world. For centuries, the Abkhaz people have seen themselves as guardians of this land, bound to the rivers, forests, and mountains by tradition and spirituality. One of the most fascinating aspects of Abkhazia is the survival of ancient customs that are still honored today. In remote mountain villages, rituals are performed beneath sacred groves, where locals gather to pray for good harvests, protection, or peace. These ceremonies are not simply remnants of the past, they remain an active part of daily life, linking families and communities to their ancestors. Hospitality, too, is a cornerstone of Abkhaz identity. These ceremonies are not simply remnants of the past, they remain an active part of daily life, linking families and communities to their ancestors. Hospitality, too, is a cornerstone of Abkhaz identity. Guests are treated with deep respect, often welcomed with a table full of dishes like abista, a traditional cornmeal porridge, and accompanied by long conversations that stretch late into the evening. History has left deep marks here as well. Abkhazia's strategic location on the Black Sea made it a crossroads for empires, from ancient Greek colonies to Byzantine rulers, Ottoman influence, and Russian expansion. Traces of these eras are still visible: medieval fortresses hidden in the forests, churches dating back over 1,000 years, and even Soviet-era resorts along the coastline that now stand as monuments to a different time. Each layer of history adds to the region's unique atmosphere, blending echoes of the past with the resilience of the present. For travelers, Abkhazia is less about rushing from one landmark to another and more about immersing in a rhythm of life that feels both timeless and alive. You might walk through the bustling markets of Sukhumi in the morning, where vendors sell everything from fresh figs to homemade cheese, then spend the afternoon wandering in the silence of Ritsa Lake, its turquoise waters reflecting the mountains like a mirror. This duality, between liveliness and serenity, modernity and tradition, is what makes Abkhazia so captivating. It is not simply a destination, but a living story, where nature and culture are inseparable, and where every encounter leaves you with the sense that you've glimpsed a piece of something enduring and rare. Among Abkhazia's many treasures, one of the most captivating is its long tradition of winemaking, which stretches back thousands of years. Archaeological findings suggest that viticulture in this region may date to ancient times, when local communities cultivated wild grape varieties in the fertile valleys that open toward the Black Sea. Unlike mass-produced wines found elsewhere, Abkhaz wine has always been closely tied to family traditions and the rhythms of village life. Many households still maintain their own small vineyards, producing wine for personal use or for guests, often stored in hand-carved wooden barrels or simple clay vessels. What makes Abkhaz wine culture so unique is that it is not just about the drink itself, but about the rituals surrounding it. During feasts and celebrations, wine is poured generously as part of elaborate toasts, which can last several minutes, weaving together blessings, stories, and wishes for the future. A traditional Abkhaz toast is less about drinking quickly and more about reflecting on life, friendship, and community. These moments transform the table into a place of storytelling, where history and memory are passed down alongside the clinking of glasses. Certain varieties have become especially famous, like Apsny, a deep red wine named after the Abkhaz word for their homeland, meaning land of the soul. This wine is often described as rich and velvety, with a character shaped by the mountain climate and the Black Sea breezes. Another well-known variety is Lykhny, lighter in body but equally tied to the culture and identity of the region. Each bottle is more than a product, it is a reflection of the land, the climate, and the people who nurture the vines. Today, winemaking continues to serve as both a cultural anchor and a form of hospitality. Visitors to Abkhazia are often invited to share a glass of homemade wine as a gesture of welcome, an experience that carries far more meaning than simply tasting a drink. It is, in many ways, a doorway into understanding the spirit of the Abkhaz people: warm, resilient, and deeply connected to their land. For those who experience it, Abkhazia's wine tradition is not easily forgotten, because it is less about flavor alone and more about the enduring bond between nature, culture, and community. One of the most striking windows into Abkhazia's past can be found in its ancient architecture, which still stands as a silent witness to centuries of change. Among the most iconic structures is the Patsunda Cathedral, built in the 10th century during the reign of King Bagrat III, the first king of United Georgia. Rising proudly in the coastal town of Patsunda, the cathedral is a masterpiece of medieval stonework, its thick walls and soaring arches designed to withstand both time and turmoil. Inside, fragments of faded frescoes still cling to the walls, their colors softened by centuries, yet powerful enough to convey the devotion and artistry of those who created them. But Pitsunda is only one part of a much larger story. Scattered across Abkhazia's mountains and valleys are dozens of ancient churches, fortresses, and watchtowers. Some, like the Anacopia fortress above New Athos, date back more than 1,000 years and were once vital strongholds protecting trade routes that linked the Black Sea to the Caucasus interior. Standing atop these ruins today, with panoramic views stretching from the coast to the mountains, it is easy to imagine the armies, merchants, and travelers who once passed through these lands. Equally fascinating are the smaller, lesser-known monuments hidden in the forests. Many of these are early Christian chapels from the 6th or 7th century, built during a time when the region was at the crossroads of Byzantine influence and local tradition. Their simple stone walls, often overgrown with ivy or moss, exude a quiet atmosphere, as if nature itself has decided to protect them. Locals sometimes treat these places with reverence, seeing them not just as ruins but as sacred spaces where the past continues to live. These monuments are more than just historical relics, they are reminders of Abkhazia's place in a broader cultural mosaic. They tell a story of resilience, of how communities preserved their faith and identity despite invasions, shifting empires, and political upheavals. For visitors, exploring these sites is like walking through a living museum without glass cases or barriers. Each stone, each carving, each weathered wall offers a direct connection to the people who built and used them centuries ago. In Abkhazia, history is not locked away in books, it rises from the earth, etched into every mountain fortress and seaside cathedral, waiting for those willing to look closer. Abkhazia is often called the land of waterfalls and caves, and nowhere is this title more fitting than in the region's breathtaking landscapes that lie hidden among the Caucasus Mountains. Perhaps the most awe-inspiring of these is the New Athos cave, one of the largest karst caves in the world. Stretching more than a kilometer underground, it opens into vast chambers so immense that they resemble cathedrals carved not by human hands, but by time itself. Inside, stalactites and stalagmites form surreal shapes, while underground rivers echo softly through the darkness. To walk through its illuminated pathways is to feel as if you are exploring the very heart of the earth, above ground. Nature displays an equally dramatic side. The Ritsa Nature Reserve, established in 1930, protects some of Abkhazia's most pristine ecosystems. At its center lies Lake Ritsa, a turquoise mirror cradled by snow-capped peaks and dense evergreen forests. Local legends say the lake was formed from the tears of a grieving mother, giving it a mystical aura that lingers even today. In summer, alpine meadows surrounding the lake burst into color with wildflowers, while in winter, the entire area transforms into a silent world of snow and ice. The reserve is also home to rare wildlife, including brown bears, chamois, and golden eagles soaring high above the ridges. Waterfalls cascade throughout the region, each with its own character. The Gegski waterfall, plunging from a height of over 70 meters, is perhaps the most famous, not only for its beauty but also because it once appeared in Soviet films as a stand-in for distant landscapes. Surrounded by towering cliffs, the roaring curtain of water creates a mist that cools the air, making it a favorite destination for hikers and travelers. What makes Abkhazia's natural wonders so remarkable is their accessibility and variety. Within a single day, one can stroll along the palm-lined beaches of the Black Sea, hike through subtropical forests alive with birdsong, and climb into alpine zones where glaciers glitter in the sun. Few places in the world offer such a condensed experience of nature's diversity. For the Abkhaz people, these landscapes are not just scenery, they are woven into their identity, their folklore, and their way of life. To experience them is to understand that in Abkhazia, nature is not a backdrop, but the main character in the story of the land. Abkhazia's cultural heartbeat can be felt most vividly through its music and dance, which have been preserved and celebrated for generations. Traditional Abkhaz music is rooted in polyphony, an ancient style of singing where multiple voices interweave to create rich, layered harmonies. This form is not just entertainment, it is considered a communal expression of identity. During village gatherings or festivals, groups of singers often perform without instruments, their voices rising and falling in a way that feels both timeless and deeply spiritual. The songs carry themes of love, bravery, hospitality, and respect for nature, echoing the values that hold the community together. Instruments, when used, add another dimension to the music. The akarpan, a stringed instrument resembling a lute, has been played for centuries, often accompanying ballads or storytelling. Percussion instruments, too, are essential in bringing energy to performances, especially during dances. Each melody is infused with a sense of place, the rhythm of the mountains, the rush of rivers, and the calm of the Black Sea seem to flow naturally through the music. Dance, meanwhile, is one of the most striking visual expressions of Abkhaz culture. Men and women take on contrasting roles. The men's movements are bold, sharp, and athletic, symbolizing courage and strength, while the women's steps are graceful, fluid, and restrained, embodying elegance and dignity. Together, they create a harmony that mirrors the balance of opposites, a theme deeply ingrained in Abkhaz tradition. Costumes add to the spectacle, men in chokas, with daggers at their side, and women in flowing dresses that emphasize poise and refinement. These performances are not limited to staged events. At weddings, family gatherings, and national celebrations, music and dance bring people together in a shared moment of joy and identity. Even younger generations, despite modern influences, continue to learn the old songs and dances, ensuring that the traditions remain alive. For visitors, witnessing such a performance is often one of the most memorable experiences, because it reveals the soul of the Abkhaz people not through words, but through rhythm, movement, and collective expression. Abkhazia's music and dance are more than cultural practices, they are living symbols of continuity. In a region shaped by centuries of change, they stand as reminders that while borders and empires may shift, the spirit of a people can endure through the art they carry in their voices, their steps, and their hearts.